Episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
All right. Today we get to talk about one of the most popular Burleson events, BTX Brewfest. I have with me Brooke Mathis and a young lady named Sarah. I forgot to ask your name, dadgummit.
It's all right. It's Sarah Dickey.
Sarah Dickey. And you run the Serendipity Salon, right?
I do.
And Brooke is the Burleson photographer of record or something like that.
Oh, don't say that. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, but you are a photographer.
I am a photographer,
okay,
yep.
Good.
I have a lot of Burleson clients, but I will not claim to be the one of record.
Okay, fine. But it's also, mostly we can talk about the Brewfest, and it's all the details that go into it and the work that goes into it and what people can expect and whatnot. And why in the world do you put yourself through this every year? I'm sure you've asked that question every now and then.
Yep.
Because putting on these events, there's 1,001 details. And all these little worries, and all these things come up at the last minute and all this other stuff. I feel your pain. But first of all, let's run through a couple of the sponsors because they are supportive of this. I've talked to a couple of them, and they're really excited about it. CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. They've been under new ownership for about 3 months now, Lexi and Bailey, and they got some plans. They got some programs. They have the classes, they have supervision, all that. So check out their website at Burleson, CrossFitBurleson.com. Get it right, CrossFitBurleson.com, and check it all out. Also, thank you to Shandy Stogsdill and the Stogsdill Group. She's closing this week, and it's I've been reading the paper about real estate now. It's slowing down everywhere. It didn't really slow down here. It's getting expensive to live here, and you need somebody to navigate that area. Do y'all live in the area, by the way?
We do.
Okay, so know what's going on with the real estate and all that, and interest rates. One of my other sponsors, Candy Gal, could talk about that as well. Oh, there's Alex Phillips. Hey, I know those ladies. Always looking for a way to bring people together. Looking forward to another incredible BTX Brewfest. Thank you all for investing in BTX, and that's true.
Alex is amazing. He
is, and I have him on every now and then, and I try to crack his code, and I can't get it. He will not tell me what's coming.
He's a great man.
Yes, he's a extremely great asset for this community. Mm-hmm. I hope people realize that. Anyway, enough schmoozing with Alex. Let's go back to the people who pay to be on here. Anyway, also, everybody knows Otto at our place. Didn't you just come from that place?
We did. He is one of our sponsors for the festival.
That's about right. Otto is very community oriented, and if there's beer involved, he'll be there. So he's one of my best sponsors. They're all my good sponsors are great. I really do like the fact that I can endorse these sponsors not just as businesses but as people. It makes it a lot easier to push their product or service. But our place is a great place. It has what I like, and I always say this, is it's a very eclectic place in a sense, because you go in there and it's a very diverse crowd, and that's a testament to the kind of atmosphere Otto provides. All right, thank you also to Wild Cigar, another place that's very eclectic and has a very varied clientele. I was there last week, and you see people doing their business, on laptops, conducting business. They're having a smoke and a drink. I said, man, that's a great way to do business. I'm sure, after a day at Serendipity, you probably could use a
smoke and a drink.
Yeah. But it's really nice. They got a lot of events coming up in October. It's like they got 2 or 3 cigar vendors coming in for specials and things like that. Oh, Melissa is there.
There's our third one.
There's your third one. Okay, but so it's all 3 of y'all that do this, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Wild Cigar and Culture. You know where it's at. It's over at the Standard. Also, Tiffany Nico, Local Life. It comes out this week. Do y'all use Local Life?
We do. So Local Life does, so they do all of our social media for the festival. We do advertising. They do it all. But she's actually directly next door to me now.
That's right. I know she moved out of the Standard and moved to your place. You said your photography studio is on Wilson near the new apartments.
Yep, right in front of the big giant apartment complex.
Oh, every time I want to kind of get a city council member kind of wound up on the show, say, so tell me about the depot on Main. And,
They're actually, I know it has caused a lot of heartburn.
Yes.
But I will tell you, it's a beautiful, beautiful complex. Like, I'm super pumped to be in front of it.
Taylor, have you checked those out?
Yeah.
What are they like?
They're pretty freaking nice.
Yeah, pretty nice, huh? Well, good. We need some nice apartments. I mean, a lot of apartments of all kinds are actually in Burleson. It's expensive to rent here, but
No kidding.
well, I've been talking with Victoria Johnson about that every show about the housing costs. But we're here to talk about something else. Anyway, Local Life, it's out. It's on in 30,000 homes. It's also, I'm sure, Otto has a big stack on his counter. Several other businesses I know do that, so you'll be seeing it, and we hope you use it. Also, Burleson Buzz. This is a new publication of sorts. It's online, but it's trying to replace a weekly newspaper, and so they'll do reports on city council. He'll probably be out there here, and his co-reporter Ashton will be out there probably Saturday and take. I know if he runs across you can probably have an interview with him.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
He's been around about 3 months now, and he's trying to provide a local news source. And like it came out yesterday or this morning, I guess, and about city business, and also talks about like BISD business, local sports, whatever. So there you are. Okay, let's start from the beginning. How long have y'all done this?
So this is the third year for BTX Brewfest.
Okay. Third year. What inspired you to do this? Because I know it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. So I will tell you, our third counterpart, Melissa, this was her original idea, her baby. Melissa and I used to run a food truck. She primarily ran it. I helped. And so we fell in love with the food truck atmosphere. A lot of food trucks go to breweries. And so we loved both the atmosphere and the community, and decided it would be really cool to bring to Burleson an opportunity to expand people's tastes on beer, right? Not a couple of years ago when we started, craft beer was still relatively new in the area.
Yes.
And so we really kind of took all of our loves, live music, food trucks, craft beer, and said, you know what if we came together and made it a big event and brought Sarah in, because I'm certain Sarah knows everybody in Burleson.
I try.
Well, being in serendipity, it is a good place to meet people.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And so that was 3 years ago. We had one 2 years prior to that called Burleson Oktoberfest.
I remember that.
And rebranded it, moved it, made it bigger. BTX Brewfest is.
Well, that having the Mayor Vera Calvin Plaza available makes it a lot nicer.
That plaza is amazing.
It is. It's one of the best things we've ever done.
Yeah,
Because there's so many things that go on there.
absolutely.
And it's always seems like when things are going on there, it's almost like a carnival atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Like even with, the farmer's market there every week. And you go there and it's just a nice time.
It is. It's all very positive. It's all usually very family friendly. The plaza, especially for those that are able to rent it and have events like this.
One of your friends, I suppose, Dee Dee McCool, is a friend of y'all's?
Yes. Yes.
Can't wait.
Yep.
Love these ladies.
She is also one of our sponsors, Fort Worth Golf Club. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you put the logos up there, Taylor? I know they sent us some, and there's a bunch.
I think we sent you let's see,
Breweries.
those are our breweries. Yep.
Yeah,
Those are the
breweries.
breweries we have this year.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay, these are sponsors?
Nope.
No, those are breweries.
Those are the
Okay.
breweries. I forgot to send you the sponsors.
Okay, well,
I'm not that organized.
I know. Well, you got lots on your mind.
All of our sponsors know this about me.
No, well, that's fine. You said our place is one, and
Yes.
you came,
Alpha and Omega,
Alpha Omega, the
Pest Control.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
City Market. Who am I?
Truly Title.
Truly Title. Stellar Rental. I'm trying to go in my head and remember it off the top of my head. B&A Doors.
Texas Overhead Doors.
Oh, I know them. Eric Fletcher, right? He's a former student.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lone Star Roll Off,
Yep.
which is connected to Murray's Bakery.
Yep.
Okay.
First National Bank, American National Bank, Independent Financial Bank.
Wow, you got a bunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We are very blessed to have a lot of sponsors that partner with us. And
And what I love too about some of our sponsors,
Melissa says First National. She
Yep.
put it there. Okay.
one of the things that I love about our sponsors is not all of them are necessarily local. Like they branch out, and
Right.
we are, as we have gone into our third year, it's our, I'm going to use the word zip code is growing.
Right.
which is really cool.
Melissa mentions Lone Star Bar and Grill. I've been there a
Yes.
couple of times.
Yes.
So, I have to ask your secret then. How do you get so many sponsors? I mean, that to me, when I do this podcast and, I'm talking to somebody I know or I've known for years, I'm kind of, I don't know if I want to bring this up because I don't want to be that guy that people are like, oh, crap, he's coming down the hallway and he's going to make me want to talk about sponsorship again. It's like, well, that's why I didn't want my wife getting in some of those multi-level marketing things.
Yeah.
So how do y'all do it?
So a lot of it is relationship driven. Sarah, of course, is very well known in town. We have just really solid relationships with a lot of the businesses. A lot of begging and pleading and sweet talking.
That's what I'm familiar with. Yeah.
But, one of the cool things is I feel like we do a really great job promoting our sponsors. They're all over our social media. They all have the opportunity to be in the swag bag that goes out to the VIP ticket holders. We do, not only do we do signage at the festival, we also have individual yard signs for every sponsor. So we really work hard to make sure that we are promoting their business everywhere that we can.
Couple of questions.
Yeah.
Jonathan asked, with the new fad and craze of non-alcoholic beers, do you ladies see there being any NA options, non-alcoholic options served? And Melissa said that at least one.
Yep.
And then Tiffany says hello.
Yeah. So we do try to always make sure that we have at least one non-alcoholic beer at the festival. Last year we had Athletic Brewing, which is it's a brand that is all non-alcoholic. They were not able to join us this year, but we do offer at least one every year.
Well, I know it's a big deal. It's like, not that I endorse getting drunk, but I guess people want to have the taste of beer without the possibilities, or maybe if they have a problem with alcohol. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but still understand that.
We also do, in addition, because we do have a lot of people that are like, man, I don't like beer, but I want to come. We also do ciders and we do seltzers.
I would probably just like to be there just for the atmosphere. Now, I am a casual beer drinker. My usual preference is wine or whiskey, but not. My wife isn't listening, I hope. But anyway, but I'm just saying, but you don't have to be an expert by any means to come try out these various brews.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And I have some, in my generation, 61-year-old guys, it's pretty much still Bud or whatever. But as far as the younger generation that I'm familiar with, they really, really like this craft beer thing.
Yeah. And, I think one thing that we do that's a little bit different, that it took a little bit to educate people how it works. But I think most people kind of have the hang of it now. We offer, if you're not going to be a drinking person, or if you are a designated driver, they can do just regular general admission. But we also offer general admission with tasting tickets, and our VIP includes tasting tickets. So people that are new to the craft beer world have the ability to take those tasting tickets and go through each brewery and decide which ones they want to try. So they're not stuck with a whole big beer that they don't like. They can try little ones.
Now, as far as the breweries themselves, are these physical locations and they're taking some of the product out there? Or are these, in other words, are these, if you really found something you really liked, they have a location you can go to and have it more
Absolutely.
of it? Okay, that's a very awkward way of putting it.
Yeah.
But, this isn't like, I found this beer, but I have to buy it online.
No. I would say probably 90 to 95% of our breweries that attend the festival have physical brick and mortar locations all over DFW. We do have a couple that are national. They don't have locations here, but are working on it. But yes, most of them are local
too. You can get at City Market. Like a lot of our vendors, they also sell. They have a really great beer selection at City Market.
If you don't mind, Tina, put
local.
that other one back with the breweries on it, because I was looking. I said, do I recognize any of these? And there's one of them I know that's very popular, Wild Acre. I know several people that have said really, really good things about that one. And I look at these others, and this is something that's kind of new for my generation in the sense, because back then we had breweries or beer joints that would make their own beer, but mostly you did go in there for the store bought brands and that kind of stuff. And now this is a really big thing.
Yep.
If I recall right, there's a couple of areas in Fort Worth where they have it. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law have been trying to get me out to some brewery out there called Cowtown Brewery near downtown. Have y'all been there?
We have.
Is it worth going to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if you have never been to a brewery, they are a great, some of them are only open certain days of the week, but most of these, I will tell you, are open on the weekends, and they're a great day, especially when the weather's pretty, just to go out and just hang out. They usually, almost all of them have some type of food option. Most of them have patios. In good weather days, they're incredible. Yucky weather days, they all have an option to be inside, so it's still just as great. But yeah, most of these 100% I would tell you go try them.
Well, I've been to one. The last one I went to was not here in the Dallas area, it was in Oklahoma City. It was with my cousin and his son. And his son is, late 30s. Now he's 40, I think. But he was a couple of years ago. And so I went in there, and it's like one of my first times I was spending any time in one. And they had a lot of samples you could try. And some I liked, and some, whatever. It's like, it depended on it. But it was nice that I was experiencing some new options that I wouldn't have had before. Absolutely. I mean, if you buy, a 6-pack of Modelo, you know what you're getting.
Yep.
Here you're going to get, probably exposed to some stuff. Might find, well, this one's not for me, but this one really is something.
Yep. So that's the coolest part about the samples, the tasting cards, is you can go through, and then once you found one that you like, you just go back to the ticket booth and you can buy more tickets and buy full beers, or you can continue tasting. We have 20, right at 30 breweries that are going to be in attendance, right at 30. And each of them have somewhere between 2 to 3 beers that they're sampling.
Well, so you buy a ticket, and you had the QR code up a minute ago, but you have like $15, $25, and $50. Okay.
Yep.
What does $15 get you?
So the $15, the general admission option, that is just your ticket into the festival to enjoy the day. A portion of all ticket sales go to our charity Center for ASD.
Center for ASD, they've been on the show several times. You probably know Bianca pretty well.
We do. Yeah, right. So general admission is, you know what? I just want to come in. I want to hang out. I want to shop the vendors. I want to enjoy the music all day. We have essentially all afternoon, all evening is all live music. General admission plus tastings it gives you a tasting card, which gives you 12 samples. And then that's the $25 option. VIP gets you in an hour early, gets you a shirt, a festival glass, and a swag bag.
Okay. Now, let's say I just want to walk around. So I get the $15 ticket and said, wait a minute, I want to try some of this.
Yep.
It's not too late to get the tasting card.
Not at all.
Okay, good.
Not at all.
It's like, I'm sorry, but that ship sailed. Ooh, this is good.
Nope. It's just for those that want to plan ahead, and they're like, you know what, I already know I'm going to do this. And so they do that from the beginning and go straight to the beer. You get general admission, and you're like, maybe I do.
Well,
you just go get
I would assume if people come there, they're not just there to wander around and kill time. They're there for the tastings.
It's actually, like, if I look at online ticket sales, it's probably half and half.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're missing out, frankly. I mean, that's you go to a Brewfest or a wine crawl or whatever other type of event like this. You don't go there just for sightseeing. You go there to just taste the samples.
Yeah.
Melissa says here you got 30 different brands and 78 different types of beers, ciders, and seltzers.
Yep. That's
a new one for us is seltzers. So I'm talking about the old coots.
Yes.
We don't. That's for us. But in cider, that's something that I never had hard cider. I would put it that way.
Yeah. You should try them. We've got some really good ones this year.
Well, maybe sometime.
Yeah.
But this isn't really meant for like standard beers, so to speak. Stuff you just see advertised. This is specially brewed beers with special types of processes and special tastes, which is what they're looking for.
Yeah. We do have domestic options. So if someone's like, man, I just don't love craft beer, we do have a couple of domestic options. So
you got it covered then, don't you?
Yeah, just our good tried and true, I want a good cold beer. We have those covered as well.
Well, my favorite is Dos Equis.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
with a lime and salt.
Just a lime.
Yeah.
Just a lime.
Yeah. But as far as, but I don't really, like I said earlier, I don't drink a lot of beer. Usually I'll I have some beer in the refrigerator and I save it for when I'm done working in the yard, and that kind of stuff. But
it's the best time to have one.
Yes. But as far as, these other type of breweries, I mean, when I was at that place I mentioned a few minutes ago in Oklahoma City, I got to talk to the owner of that thing for a little while, and it's like I wouldn't call it obsession, but it's like you have to really love what you're doing. And I'm sure all these people that you're dealing with, this is not just, hey, I thought I'd brew some beer and come. I mean, this is like, they take it pretty dang seriously.
Absolutely.
And it's a really, it's like a work of love for them more than anything else.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'm sure they're very proud of their beer.
They are. They are. And that's, that's cool is when you're going from tent to tent, we try to always make sure that they have a representative there that can talk about it, right? Because yes, you can just taste the beer, but I like to know about it. I want to know like what's special about it, what's special about your brewery. So I love to hear the different stories and how they...
And I'm sure you attract a lot of guests that also know what they're talking about, they know what they're looking for, and they could taste, there's a little more hops to it than the other one, or whatever, they could, for me, it's like, well, this tastes better than that one or whatever, but they could tell you why and how they could probably explain to you how it's brewed. It's like, if you ever hung around the wine crowd, it's kind of like that, or a whiskey crowd, it's like that. They're not just there to slug them down, but they know all these little details and how it's distilled and all this other stuff. And it's amazing.
Yeah. It's very fascinating.
It really is kind of interesting because it's a whole culture.
Yep.
And now, how did you get a hold of these breweries? Did they get a hold of you?
So a little bit of both. Again, we have some really good relationships with a lot of our breweries, and some of them have been a part of the festival each year. When they have been a part of the festival each year, they bring different beer each time. We also work with a couple of the big distributors, and so invite them that way.
Well, I'm just going to look at a few of these because honestly, I recognize some, don't recognize others. Like I do recognize Locust Cider.
Yep.
And I mentioned Wild Acre. Yep. I see Twin Peaks is there. Are they a brewery or are they a sponsor?
So they're actually both. A lot of people don't know this, but Twin Peaks actually they are a brewery. And so they're bringing 3 of their beers.
Well, how about that? I did not know that. Also, I'm looking at 4 6s, I guess.
Yeah. So
as long as they ain't 3 6s.
So if you are a Yellowstone fan, that will resonate.
Yeah, it's my cord's all tangled up. Anyway, that's all right. Yes, I have seen a few episodes. That's kind of why I thought that name sounded familiar.
Yep,
Are they connected to the show?
So that is the ranch. So it's all connected through the 4 6s ranch, and the brewery is called Grit and Glory.
Grit and Glory.
Grit and Glory.
Keep on while I untangle my cord.
So let's see. There's a couple of them that I think are a little fascinating. So Martin House is in Fort Worth, and they have the brand Awesome Sauce, which are sour seltzers. And this year they have released a new brand, and I'm looking for it, Palo Pinto. So Palo Pinto is I'm not going to say it right. Melissa will correct me here in a minute. They are craft cocktails, but they're with beer. So they have a really, like in the can, they have a michelada all put together. It's like a Bloody Mary one.
And it's instead of the typical stuff, though, it's got beer instead. It's kind of like those wineritas things you see at HEB.
Let's see. You've got Bishop Cider, Truly Hard Seltzer, another one. There are some.
Now, some of these I've seen at like Total Wine, or I've seen a couple at HEB, I've seen a couple at City Market, but are some of these representing individual brewery pubs? Are these all stuff that you would find on the shelf?
So some of them are, if they're through one of the big distributors, you can potentially find some of their beer at HEB, City Market, some of the grocery stores. But a lot of what they're bringing out to the festival is either a limited release, or sometimes you'll find them like a lot of, who is it? Martin House, a lot of them you can find there. Fort Brewery, I don't believe they're on the shelf yet. They have a really great pizza place. They brought their pizza truck out last year.
A pizza place, really?
Fort Brewery, yeah.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But see, it sounds like y'all are in the hip and happening crowd where things are going on, where the party is. And I'm like,
you got to know the good ones if you're going to bring them in.
Well, and I would imagine every year, you said this is your third year doing it, you're probably expanding the number of people that bring stuff.
Yes.
Because do you remember the first time you did this, how many beer tastings you had?
The first year we probably had somewhere around 20 breweries. This year we're up to 30. Melissa said we have several Oktoberfests. So we asked all of them if they had an Oktoberfest to bring it with them. So this year we're up to 30. I will tell you, it's a little bit of, it's a blessing and a challenge as our brewery list grows every year.
Well, okay, that's good. That's an interesting statement there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. So
what's the curse?
It's a blessing because you want to bring more breweries, right? There's actually a TABC regulation that says breweries cannot pour their own beer at festivals.
What?
So that means that we have to have volunteers for every tent.
Okay, now, explain to me why. I mean, they're there to promote their beer.
We don't know how to tell you why. We question it every single
I beg
year.
every
It
year.
doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're there to promote your beer, so if I had a beer and I want to promote it, I have to get somebody to serve it for me.
Yep. So if anyone has watched our social media, you've seen us begging and pleading for volunteers because
I didn't know that was the reason why. When I saw volunteers, I just in my head was thinking help with parking or just keep the lid on or something. But I did not know that you had to have your separate pours.
you do. It's that's why I say it's a blessing and a curse because we want to continue to grow it. But finding enough people to help pour is, it's a challenge.
What does a person who does this get out of the deal? Was to get some free beer at least?
They do get some tasting tickets. They get one of the festival shirts. We have different shirts for our volunteers. Depending, we have some paid positions. Not all of them are volunteer. So it really just kind of depends on.
And there is a tip jar.
There is a tip jar, absolutely. So they can make
Do you
tips.
still need volunteers? No, seriously. I mean, do you?
You know what? I think we just closed it down a couple of days ago. I think we are good on volunteers.
Well, I wasn't volunteering myself, but I know somebody that could probably use a little extra folding money and
absolutely,
and be really good at this. My daughter used to do those demonstrations at like Total Wine or other places on the weekend or whatever else, and she was really good at it.
Yeah, it's a fun day. All of our volunteers, they work super, super hard. I can definitely tell you, without our volunteers, there's no way we could do this. But we are good on volunteers. Fingers crossed that everybody shows up this year. But next year I will definitely hit you up and we will promote that for sure.
Yeah, well, that'd be good because she's really sociable. She'd be really good at it. And
a lot of our volunteers come out because a portion of the proceeds goes back to Center for ASD. A lot of them come out to help because they're connected into Center for ASD. And so we obviously all want that to be a successful event so that we can, the more we make, the more we can donate over to them and help them out.
They really are a wonderful outfit. I've gotten to know Lisa Boltinghouse pretty well, and Bianca and I belong to a networking group, which I'll see her tomorrow. And she's a sweet young lady, and I'd really admire what they do.
Absolutely.
I'm going to jump into a couple of ads for myself here, and then we'll get back to a couple others. And also I want to talk about the details of putting this thing together. I mean, it isn't something like, hey, let's go in and have a few shots or whatever, or a few brews. It's a lot of work, and it probably takes months, I would imagine.
It does.
So anyway, we'll talk about our sponsors here because they work hard too. And you mentioned earlier, I mentioned Southern Gym. I was over at her place last week, and my wife works there, right? So one thing my wife does, she grabs him out of the arm, says, "Let me show you something." And then there's a whole display of rings that she wanted me to see. Like, oh, this is a dangerous job. But anyway, Gayla has some really nice stuff. And she also asked me to tell y'all out the vast listening audience, if you have repairs or designs or anything special, then you need to do it in October. Because if you want to make sure you get it in time for Christmas morning. Because if you wait until like the week before, you're not getting it because they're going to be booked up. And, and the thing is about jewelry repair, it isn't like you get it. It takes a couple weeks anyway.
Yep.
And, my wife does the jewelry, what's a good way of putting it? She keeps track of the repairs. That's the best way to put it. And she'll tell you it's about 2 weeks. Anyway, but it's a great location over at the Standard right next to American Revelry. Got really nice inventory. And they have some that it's very impressive in price and some that are very much in my affordability. So there you are. So they got the whole range. You shouldn't think that they're out of your price range. That would be a
dangerous job.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that my wife comes back all the time and said, look at this. Oh, it'd be nice. I'm like, we do have to pay bills, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, thank you also to Old Pro Roofing with John Williams, 817-734-2756. They're here in Burleson. You want somebody that's going to work in your house. You want somebody that's local, so you know where to find them. And they're got a great reputation, and they deserve it. And so if you want John to come out and check your roof, he'll tell you the truth about your roof. It needs repairs. It doesn't need repairs. And no upselling, no doom and gloom, catastrophic predictions or whatever else. So call John if you want your roof. And this is the time to do it. It's supposed to have bad weather tomorrow, right? Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, it's supposed to be rain. Yes.
Yeah, so it's not a good time to find out you need roof repairs. Is Thursday morning,
Absolutely.
Speaking of weather, what I saw, you're going to have fantastic weather Saturday night. Nice fall weather, perfect for a Brewfest.
I think someone said the high was 69.
Yeah, that's going to be perfect.
So pumped for that.
Well, yeah, but surely, and then nothing. October. Brewfest, Oktoberfest, man, it just goes together, right?
Absolutely.
So anyway,
And Old Pro is one of our sponsors as well.
That doesn't surprise me. They're really good people. I've gotten to know some of them, and it's when you find somebody you can trust in this line of work, you keep them. Same thing with Thrive. This is a social, not just social media, but Dee Dee Simpson will tell you it's the whole packaging event of putting your business out there, not just SEO operations, but also just email and billing invoices. That's what I'm trying to say, and just the whole gamut of running a business. Website management, things of that nature. And Dee Dee will help you set it all up. She's very good about making sure you understand the technology. And for some of us, that's a problem. But several of us in BNI use it. Oh, Melissa says her little brother works for Old Pro.
He does.
Yeah, okay. And so thank you, Dee Dee. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Also, if you have some sort of problem with the weather, call Lisa and Moore Smith. They are at Stop Restoration, where they get it right the first time. They will come and if you have some sort of water damage, fire damage, also water heater damage, they do a lot of work. Mold remediation, which is not something everybody can do. A lot of people say, "Oh, I could do that," but you have to be registered in this state, and that's very hard to get. Is that professional credential? So if you need something like that done, call Lisa and Morris. They're really wonderful people. And they'll help you out. They do all sorts of things. I remember talking with Lisa. They had this hoarder. That somebody had bought a place that was owned by a hoarder, and they showed me the before pictures. I mean, it was trash stacked up to here, up to our shoulders practically. But it took them about a week, but they got it where people can live in it again. So there you go. Also, I mentioned her earlier, Candy Gow over at U Mortgage. She'll be on in a couple of weeks. 817-925-2661. They're here in town. They're over by the B&G building. They're at that standalone building in the south part of the plaza. And so if you want to talk about mortgage rates, you need to talk to her because, I've been reading stuff about mortgages and 30-year rates and how they're higher than normal. You need somebody that's going to be able to navigate this whole for you. So between her and Shandy, if you're looking to move in the area, these are people I would trust absolutely. I've used her twice for refinancing over the 30-something years of our home. So there you are. Okay, back to y'all. All right. So you got this inspiration to do BTX Brewfest. Mm-hmm. About when do you start working on the next one?
Well, we grandfather people in. Mm-hmm. So typically about a month after the festival, we reach out and thank them for being there, ask them if they want to be a part of it the following year. Mm-hmm. Then we take a break till March. Mm-hmm. And in March, we hit it hard again. Mm-hmm. So it's most of the year.
Yeah, it's not something that you put together in a week.
No.
Because probably these breweries, I would imagine, have offers all the time, and you want to get them in on your schedule early.
Yes, and this festival is in the middle of Oktoberfest season. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them are overcommitted because they're at different Oktoberfests. Mm-hmm. So we're very thankful and very blessed that they continue to come back and that we keep adding new ones.
Do you think about changing it to another time of the year?
No.
Nope.
Okay, good.
Nope. So we actually looked at springtime, but springtime, there's too much rain and tornadoes and,
That'd be bad, yes.
October, knock on wood, has been safe so far. It's not usually too cold. Sometimes last year was a little warm, but for the most part, this seems to be a pretty solid season.
It is the best month. I just don't know if knocking heads with all the other beer fest and
Yep.
Oktoberfest going on, but I mean, no, there's just something about a brew fest in October where the weather's cooling off, as opposed to doing it like July where everybody's sweating.
Yes, absolutely.
They may not want a beer then, So, but there's just something traditional about it, having it in October.
Yeah.
And so, so you start about March and you start getting the sponsors together, and that's when you show up at Otto's place or other places and give them the how are you doing.
They
Yeah.
see us coming.
Yeah.
They see us coming.
Yeah, we flash our little eyelashes and hope for some sweetness that day. And
I'm sure they're all very kind. I know Otto is the person that put y'all here on the show.
Yes.
Because he connected us together, and he had nothing but very, very positive comments about y'all personally and about this whole organization that you're doing.
he's incredible.
Yeah.
So March starts when we start looking at sponsors. Usually May or June is when we open it up for vendors. This year we have about 60 different vendors and artists
So you
that
have
will come and set up. Yeah.
you have artists there. What kind of what are we talking about? Music or creative artists?
Creative artists.
All right.
This year we've got a couple of photographers. We've got a couple. We have a blacksmith.
So excited about
A
that.
blacksmith. That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah. So we have a lot of handmade items. We have a lot of crafts. We have
Leather work.
Yeah. So we went not only regular vendors that just sell their products, which a lot of our artists do sell them as well, but we really wanted to bring in, I know that City of Burleson has the Art Walk this Friday night for date night over at the plaza.
That's a good segue to y'all's. Yeah, that works.
Absolutely. And so we really wanted to incorporate more art into the community.
Was that just a coincidence, or did y'all plan it with the city to put the two together?
It was a coincidence.
Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
our goal as we grow is to have vendors, to have grow the artist category, but also to have children artists. So I really want to bring in kids that have art that they are creating and help foster that. So it's got some big plans. But
Jabba John says, "Let's go!" So exciting, So
John's so good.
yes,
His coffee's great.
yes. Well, it smells great at HEB too. I go there too often, at HEB. They're like, if I'm not there every couple of days, they call to make sure
You're
I'm still
alive.
well.
Yeah.
But as far as these artists and stuff, so I mean, you're trying to get vendors other than just breweries there, so you have to deal with all of that as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to envision this. You have all the tents going down the sidewalk area.
So we basically have a picture like a T. Okay. So we have them down the promenade. We have them down Ellison towards Lone Star Bar and Grill. There's a small little parking lot directly across from the promenade. We have them there. We have a few of them going down. What is the street that runs? Warren. Yep. Food trucks are on Ellison and Warren, and then all the breweries are in the city parking lot on Warren.
Okay. So, where would people park though? I know that, I hope anyway, First Baptist is helping out. It's my church.
Yes.
And so I just think it's ironic but a little bit that they'll do so good.
Yeah, so they are. So First Baptist actually allows their parking to be public parking if they do not have any events. And so that afternoon, they do not have any events. We have cleared it with them. There are several public parking areas all over Old Town. And I think people forget that Old Town is more than just the restaurant row. There are public parking areas all
on
over.
Buford, on Main Street. And I mean, if you're able, I mean, there's always parking on the other side of the tracks, that you can walk from if you're able to walk.
Melissa says you have a cornhole tournament.
We do.
We did. That was another thing we added this
My
year was a
brother-in-law,
cornhole tournament.
My sister's husband is a cornhole champion. So, but
They're serious about it.
oh yes, they are. It's like get a life, guys. But whatever. But another friend of yours, Stacy Spring, is
She's coming to help volunteer.
She's a volunteer.
okay. Well, as far as the parking issues, a lot of people, when I talk about it in other contexts, they get all
Yes.
worked up about parking and all this other stuff. But I think you'll find parking.
You'll absolutely find parking there. And because we have 3 entrance gates, there are parking options around all 3 entrance gates. So it really, I think anywhere you go, parking's always going to be an issue, especially if you're bringing in 3,000 to 5,000 people.
Is that how many you expect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's always going to be an issue, but I think if you just remember, this is all about bringing community together. It's all about giving back to Center for ASD. It's an amazing day.
How did you hook up with Center for ASD?
Gosh, you know what? I met Lisa probably 4 or 5 years ago. I had a photo project that I was working on, and she came in to sit with me and be a part of that. And ever since then, we have kind of been connected at the hip. I've done headshots for their group.
Oh, yeah. She was talking about that. Yep. We had a special show on Giving Day a couple of weeks ago, and all the various nonprofit representatives were here, and she was talking about doing headshots. And Bianca has talked about that and how y'all doll them up a bit and, give them a little bit of, glamour shot type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how I met her.
And we interview our charities when we go to choose. We interview several. And I think when Brooke and I went to go interview Center of ASD, I don't know, it just felt immediately, it's amazing the things that they do.
Oh, yes.
Over there, like life skills and the way that they greeted us at the door, I immediately fell in love. And Brooke looked at me and she goes, "Are we going to have to do any more interviews?" Like that was her first thing to me. She was like, "I can already see it in your face."
So this is not the first time you've done it with ASD?
So we partnered. So the first year, our charity was Harvest House. Last year, we partnered with Harvest House and Center for ASD. And this year is solely Center for ASD.
Do you think that's going to be that way going forward? Because I could tell you a lot of nonprofits.
So, we really kind of take it into consideration every year. We want to make sure that it's always the right charity. We want to make sure that, I think we recognize that, especially in our area, there are a lot of charities. And as much as I would love to tell you, yes, Center for ASD will always be our charity, there are some that I feel very strongly about.
Well, I'm sure.
And so there's kind of something to be said for sharing the love.
Yes, of course. And I'm sure Lisa understands that.
Oh, and it's not like that they cannot be a repeat. Like we can't do a different charity next year and then go back to Center of ASD.
Well, when they were here as a group 2 weeks ago, the camaraderie and the mutual support was touching to see. I mean, they genuinely care for each other, and they went to have lunch across the street with each other. They all went, and so they're not, they don't consider themselves rivals or competitors in any sense of the word. So I think our community is blessed by that.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think you have to keep in mind is, like you said, they don't consider themselves rivals. Sarah and I operate the same way. And so when we find businesses and people that have the same mentality, that's important to us because the stronger we are as a community, the better we are.
Well, these kind of things would not be successful unless we have a strong community, because if we don't want to spend time with each other, we're not going to pay to do it.
Yeah.
So how does one become a sponsor?
You just email me and Sarah and say, "Hey girls, we want to get involved."
Okay. Yeah. What's the cost involved with that?
So we actually have several different sponsor levels, and they go all the way from $250 up to $8,000.
8,000.
Yeah. So there are several, depending on what level they come in at. So what level they want to contribute. There are different marketing advantages to certain ones, different levels. All of our sponsors, we include VIP tickets for them, so they automatically get those. Certain levels get on different types of swag. So we have a sponsor just for our festival glasses and different things like that. So it really just depends on what level they want to come in at as to what they receive as a sponsor.
Let's talk about the day itself. Okay. Yeah. What are people supposed to do? Particularly getting a lot of new people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What time do they need to be there? And what time do they? What Melissa means by radio station?
Oh, they're also marketed on the radio station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's thinking out loud.
Okay.
She is.
All right. As far as what time does it start? How soon they need to be there? And
As far as what you're asking, are you asking for patrons? Are you asking for like the volunteers? Like, what are you?
Well, I was talking about just people who want to come, just the guests. When time does this start?
VIP starts at 2 p.m. They can start lining up, and general admission starts at 3.
Okay, and how long does it last?
Till 9 o'clock.
Till 9 o'clock, and then you have to run them out, huh? Last call kind of thing.
Yeah, so we definitely do a last call. The bands that we have playing. So this year we have the Dick Belding's band that goes on at 3:15.
You know who that Dick Belding is? You okay? Yeah. Tell me who he is.
I can't verbalize it, but I know who he is.
It's Saved by the Bell's principal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're a really cool cover band. And so they start at 3:15.
That's a great name.
We have the 7-6 band, which is local, and they start at 4:45. Then we have Pooh Live Crew coming in at 6. So they're another cover band. They put on a fantastic show. Then we have Josh Weathers, that is our headliner.
I haven't seen him in a long time, but he was on the show my first year.
Yeah.
He's well known.
He is well known. He is incredible. He puts on an incredible show. So Josh is actually the one that once he's done at 9, that's kind of the closeout. And it's pretty interesting. Once he's done, everyone's like, okay, now what do we go do? And so they all leave. And it's getting out is always a little hectic, but it works. Yeah. It works very smoothly.
Well, you don't have to be there at 3. You can be there at 6 when the sun's going down.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So we have people are coming and going all day, and they do have to have tickets to come in.
I don't know if you thought about this, but do you have any thought about putting like a big screen TV for the football games? Because it's Texas OU weekend.
We are officially out of room as far as the layout. I know that a lot of Texas OU people would love that.
Well, the bigger game, though, is Baylor Tech.
Of course.
Because I'm a Baylor graduate.
Of course it is.
Who cares about Texas OU?
So we actually have talked about that. I want to say one of our vendors has talked about having a TV in their booth.
If they're smart, several of them will have it. It's
Absolutely.
a good way to attract people.
100%. So like Sarah said, VIP starts at 2. General admission starts at 3. You can come in at any time. You don't have to be there at the start time. I will tell you that once the breweries run out of beer, they run out of beer. So towards the end of the night, there's a lot of breweries that have gone through all of their beer, which is a blessing.
And people should know that it's going to be a very secure environment as well. Sure, Burles and Pete today, you'll be there. People don't go to these things to get drunk. They go there to taste beer.
Absolutely.
And socialize.
Yep.
So I would imagine it's a pretty acceptable crowd, shall we say.
Absolutely. So we have Burles and PD. We have the paramedics on site. We have a private security team that we bring in as well.
So if somebody does overindulge, you get that taken care of.
100%. Yep.
But have you ever had to use that? I mean, I'd never heard of anything like that happen.
No, and you know what? That is something I think the three of us are very proud of. We talked with Melvin with the police department last year, and they tell us every year this is one of their favorite events to work because it is well maintained. There are not a lot of people that get, you're always going to have some that, get a little carried away, but it's very,
well, I'm sure also the servers. They really like it.
Well, too, but we're only there from 2 to 9. If you're a VIP, and if you're not VIP, then you're 3 to 9. And so after 9 o'clock, I mean, they have to go. Hopefully, they go. What we prefer them to do is like there's an after party at Lone Star Bar and Grill after, but like we hope that the surrounding bars get that support too. Like we want to bring that into our community.
I guess Eagles Point. I need to go there.
Eagles Point, and
which is one of the reasons we close
Spice Rack, and
and it's one of the reasons we close it down at 9 so that we understand that it has the potential to affect those restaurants' businesses negatively, but we have not heard that. So we close it down at 9 so that they still have.
I would imagine they benefit from it. It's kind of like Razzoos is now open. I bet, people come in, they have 2 or 3 hours tasting beer, and they'll go get dinner.
Yep.
Or vice versa. They'll come in, have a meal, and then, okay, we got a couple hours, let's go over and go across the parking lot here or the street, and there you are.
And so for those that don't want to eat, like if they want to try something new, we have 4 or 5 food trucks this year. So we have food inside the festival.
Do they have to buy? Do they have to buy their tickets ahead of time?
They do not have to buy their tickets at home. We do have online ticket sales all the way through the day of.
How does one access that?
It is btxbrewfest.com/tickets.
btxbrewfest.com/tickets.
And there is a QR code as well that I think we can put up. They can also buy them day of. Tickets are not more expensive day of. Some people just prefer to buy them online. So they can, come to any of the 3 entrances and buy
take
tickets
cash?
to come in. Cash, credit card, and Venmo.
I would expect, though, you'd encourage your customers, your guests, to bring a little extra money because, like you said, there are tips involved. And some of these, and like you said, it's for ASD.
Yep.
And so, they need to come and, throw down a little bit of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Our it's interesting. The beer booths are you get your beer with tickets, right? But all of the volunteers have tip jars, and so
Right.
they're working hard. They're volunteering their time, so we always encourage be kind back to them.
Is it a pretty big crowd throughout the day, or does it kind of get much bigger at night?
I would tell you probably around that 4 or 5 o'clock area really starts picking up. A lot of people come specifically for the band they want to see. So I can definitely tell you that 7 o'clock hour is super, super busy because everyone's coming there for the headliner. But each of the bands that we bring in have a really solid following. So it's pretty... It's
Continual.
It's pretty continual, yeah. It's all the way across the board most of the day.
We love that first hour, though, for our VIPs. They get that whole hour so they can get in there and really try as many beers before the big long lines show up. But, they get that special hour to get in there and try what they want and find what they like. And then they can partake in a full beer if they want to, or keep sampling, whichever way.
Yep.
That's interesting. I mean, the whole thing to me is fascinating because it's like, when I've been here a long time, I always say that on the show, and we didn't really have things like this. The only city event I can remember off the top of my head, it had Oktoberfest or something like that, or Pioneer Day or whatever.
Yeah, Pioneer Days.
Yeah. But now we got all this stuff going on.
It's amazing.
And it's really great. I think the Plaza has really amped that up tremendously. But it's just, it's amazing in the last decade or so how many more community events we have.
Absolutely.
And y'all are a part of that. Y'all are a big part of that. We're about out of time, I'm afraid. I've enjoyed listening to y'all talk about your little project, because I could tell it's a work of love. I mean, you really seem excited. I'm sure you'll be relieved Sunday morning, but still. But I'm sure that that success you see, it's like it makes it all worthwhile, right?
Absolutely.
When you're walking around about 7 o'clock at this thing Saturday night, and you see all these people, and there's laughing and carrying on and whatever, and you're going to know you had a big part of that. It's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling, and it's good to know that even with the vendors, these small business owners, those that sell out, those that get there, it's incredible for each little area. It's incredible for the community. It's incredible for the charity. It's to be a small business owner and to be able to be at an event, have 3,000 to 5,000 people. That's hard to get that kind of customer service. Yeah.
You'll get that kind of customer to come to you and instead of having to go out and
absolutely.
But it's a beautiful event. It's beautiful to me because it is family friendly. And I love to see, last year, one of my favorite things, they're in the grassy knoll area is what I call it. There was kids out there throwing a football and just like enjoying outside. And then their parents are over here enjoying a cold beer. And you see all walks of life and you get to really see your community.
Right.
Which is beautiful.
And you see a lot of friends, neighbors. Yeah. Sometimes, that's what I liked about what I do like about the farmer's market.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's always people there, besides all the neat stuff and the good, and Walnut Creek there has really got good stuff. And
Chaz and his team are amazing.
Well, I've talked to him on the show a couple of times before, and it sounds very similar in a sense about how, there's a lot of planning, a lot of details. And what I always tell people that have these events is like, look, don't sweat the little detail that you notice nobody else does.
Sure.
You might say, oh, that didn't work out exactly like I want, but you look, everybody else is having a good time.
Yep.
I always kind of refer to it like a bride at the wedding. They all get all worked up about something, and everybody else is saying, it's okay to me.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as no one notices anything that falls through the cracks, accept us, that I'm going to call it a win.
Well, I mentioned my student council days, and mine's much smaller than y'all. Certainly, I'm not comparing the size of it, but I learned really quickly. Just let it roll, and it all works out. It's going to be fine. And that little detail here or there that gets lost,
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
Fix it for next year.
Well, there's a lot of details that come up at the last minute, but I'm glad the weather's going to be good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got the city and the police on board, and that's all set to go. All these people got to do is get their tickets or just show up, and have a good time.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else you'd like us to know in the last couple of minutes?
Man, I don't think so. We do still have some VIP tickets left. I think we have about 100 VIP tickets left. So if someone wants to have their the shirt and the glass and the swag bag and get in a little early, they can still get those. Come and have a great day. Come support your community, support Center for ASD. Enjoy the music. The music's going to be incredible this year. If you want to play cornhole, there's a link on our website to sign up for the cornhole team tournament. It's good.
Well,
We're ready.
Thanks for having us on here.
Yes.
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Podcasting's easy.
It's easy.
What y'all do is hard. I just get up here and yak. Y'all do all the hard work. And so anyway, I appreciate what y'all do for our community. It's a great thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of good memories. And we had to do this again soon.
For sure. Thank you.
Okay. Well, and guys, on Thursday, my guest told me last week that she couldn't make it, so I've got an open date, so I'll probably be yelling and hollering about what's going on in Congress. That's always fun. And next week, we'll have Reach across Johnson County. And their RISE seminar coming up in about a week from Saturday. So thank y'all, ladies, and we'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
Thank you.